Awesome. It is time for another Master Passive Income show. Now, my name is Dustin Heiner, and I help people to quit their jobs by investing in real estate rental properties so they never have to work a job again. And I'm super excited that you are here with me today. Now, in this show, we're going to be talking all about real estate rental properties. And today, I have an investing couple with me today. We met at the Financial Bloggers Conference called FinCon, and I got to talking to them, and they shared with me a great story of how they got started investing in real estate when she absolutely did not want to do it, and he spent like $10,000 on a course that didn't teach him anything and all that good stuff. It's a great story, and it shows how with perseverance and talking together as a couple, you're going to be able to get through everything and be very successful. Now this couple has many businesses and they are doing fantastic financially now. All right, guys, let's get into today's show where we look at how you can work with your spouse and other people to get them on board investing with you in real estate rental properties. All right, guys, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about all aspects of real estate rental properties, with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
Now, I want you to imagine a Ferrari, an extremely fast, beautiful, amazing Ferrari. Imagine that. Now, you see it, and as you walk around the vehicle, you're looking at, man, this thing is fantastic. It goes like to 200 miles an hour. It goes from 0 to 60 in like a half a second. I mean, it's just amazing. It's beautiful, brand new. And as you're walking around the car, you're realizing, man, I want to get behind the wheel of this car. This car looks absolutely amazing. And then you look over to me, and then I say, hey, let me give you the keys to the car. And I give you the keys to the car so you can start driving this brand new Ferrari. Now, I didn't mention this, but now imagine you've never, ever been taught how to drive. You have no clue how to drive. You've never driven before. You may have seen other people do it. You might have seen people get in accidents or hear of people get in accidents. At the same time, you might have seen people go really fast and do really well driving. But you have no clue how to actually drive yourself. But then I give you the keys and I say, hey, go ahead and get behind the wheel of this $200,000 Ferrari and start going. Let's see how far you can go. Now, that is an extreme example of having something without having the knowledge or education or even experience and the coaching in order to get what you want to get done. Let's say you want to drive that Ferrari. You want to drive really fast. You want to be able to have a great time in it. But if you do not actually know how to drive it, or if you're not even coached how to drive, let alone driving a Ferrari, then more than likely something bad is going to happen. Same thing when it comes to investing in real estate. Now, I know a lot of people that listen to the show are listening to get education, which is fantastic. I first started investing and there weren't podcasts like this. There weren't many books or good books at that. There weren't websites, there weren't courses, wasn't really any coaching. In fact, actually, no, there was coaching. I remember I spent $1,000 to go to one quick little seminar, and they told me so much information, everything from wholesaling to rental properties to flipping to tax liens to every single thing that you can possibly do, and didn't give you enough information to do any of it, and then said, hey, I want you now to spend $40,000 to go through this real estate rental property course where we're going to teach you how to do that specifically. And I said, $40,000? Oh my goodness, I'm going to do it myself. If I had $40,000, I'm just going to buy my property and learn from my lessons, because I know if I give you $40,000, that $40,000 is hopefully put to good use where I'm going to get education, but it's gone. If I buy a property with that $40,000, then I have that property and, good or bad. Well, it turned out that it was a good and somewhat bad decision at the same time. The bad decision because I have lost tens of thousands of dollars doing my real estate and rental property business the wrong way. And that's what I want to save from you. That's why I have the Master Passive Income podcast, to show you how to invest in real estate rental properties right. Now, I also want to give you the ability to learn more, to be able to get the keys to a real estate investing business and then start learning and being coached how to actually invest. And I want to give you my free real estate investing course. Obviously, it's for free, but I'm going to give you my free real estate investing course if you go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. That will give you my free course that I'm going to show you how to get started investing in real estate rental properties. And I will personally, literally, I actually get those. I will send you my free real estate investing course so you can get the knowledge and education to drive that Ferrari, that amazing Ferrari, and invest in real estate. So remember, text the word rental to 33777 and I will get you that real estate investing course right away. Now, today, we're going to be talking about how a real estate investing couple got started investing. Now, he was absolutely gung-ho about investing because he just really wanted to become financially independent, financially free. And she, after they just got married, didn't really care about that. She didn't really want that. She didn't know why they wanted to do that. Well, in going through all the ups and downs, they have so much to share to help us get started investing in real estate rental properties. Now, this couple, they are the founders of Lifestyle Builders. They are fantastic business builders as well as real estate investors. In fact, they just wrote a book. It's called Lifestyle Builders. It's fantastic. It really helps entrepreneurs like us to build a lifestyle. Basically, build businesses, build real estate businesses around our lifestyle so we can live the life of our dreams. And even before the book is out for sale, they gave me 3 autographed copies to give away to anybody that is on my newsletter. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do a drawing. I'm going to have all the I think 5,000 people that are on my newsletter. I'm going to find 3 of them to give out to. Now, if you're not on my newsletter, go ahead and jump on the newsletter. If you're already in the newsletter, don't worry about it. You're going to be automatically put into the raffle. But I got 3 autographed copies to give away for free. I'm literally going to pay money to send them to you for free. So if you're not getting my newsletter, I want to get you that newsletter and put you in the drawing for one of the copy of these 3 autographed books by Tom and Ariana, the Lifestyle Builders book that's going to show you how to build businesses that are going to be around your lifestyle, how you want your life to live. Now, if you haven't gotten on my newsletter, I want you to get on right away. Now, I'm going to give you, just for being on my newsletter as well, I'm going to give you the free investing course. So I want you to go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. All one word, masterpassiveincome.com/free course. I'll get you my free real estate investing course, as well as put you in the drawing for one of these autographed copies of the Lifestyle Builders book. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this book. It is fantastic. It's getting great reviews already on Amazon for the digital copy. Now the print edition is coming out, and so you are going to get this for free, or at least you're going to be put in the drawing. Hopefully you'll get it. So go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course to get into the drawing. And I will put that link in the description of the show so you can also get that as well. But get in there. I'll probably give it about a week of everybody signing up, and then I will select the winner. So go out there, go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course in order to get you the free investing course, as well as be in the drawing for the Lifestyle Builders book. Now, I want to bring on Tom and Ariana Sylvestor onto the show. They are the founders of tomandariana.com, as well as the Lifestyle Builders book that you can find on Amazon. I'll show you the links in the description as well, so you can pick that up. It's a fantastic book. But let's listen in as Tom and Ariana, actually mostly Ariana, share with us how in the world they started investing, and now they're doing it so well and being very, very successful. All right, guys, let's listen to the show. Hey, Tom and Ariana, it's so great. You guys are fantastic. I'm so glad we get to hang out again here at FinCon. So how are you guys doing? And thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're so excited to be back this year, of course, to see all of our old friends and some new ones.
Absolutely. How about you, Tom?
Absolutely, man. The whole reason I come to conferences is for the people. And we met at a conference 3 years ago, actually this one. And every year it's just, more and more people, better and better.
And what I found is the more people I try to help, and even for Master Passive Income or even in real estate, like everybody I try to help, it turns out that it comes back to me in some way. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things that we've done over the years has been to go into things without any kind of expectations and just creating the relationships and meeting people. And, people find that refreshing. So even though, it's like, oh, we might have met somebody 3 years ago, a lot of times, all of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody will come back and be like, so-and-so said I should come find you. And like those moments are the ones where it makes everything all worth it, because, you're like, oh my God, I've put all this work in, I've done all these things, and it doesn't seem like anything's happening. But then you have these little moments throughout that you find out people are listening, people are reading, people are finding you, that you're impacting them, even though you don't know it. And I think that's been one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah. Now, Ariana, so I've interviewed Tom before on the show,
yes.
and he's definitely, he's gung-ho. Now, when you were approached by him and say, hey, I want to start investing, and I wanted to hear a little bit about him buying into a course or like some seminar thing, but what were your thoughts about, like, what was going through your head when he said, I want to spend a lot of money and get started in investing? Tell us a bit about your thoughts and how you felt and what went through your head.
So I am very risk averse.
Yes, you are.
Probably more so when we first got started than now. I've gotten better. So when he kind of had that whole, like, I'm going to retire by 35 and I want us to have this life and we're going to do all these things. And, I kind of, I think I kind of brushed it off. I kind of didn't really take it seriously. And, he was kind of doing his own thing. He was researching. He was trying different stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, well, that didn't work out. That didn't work out. That didn't work out. And so when he wanted to do the real estate thing, we were supposed to be getting married, and he wanted to. We were supposed to be getting married.
Fast forward, we did.
We were not married yet. But, he wanted to buy a duplex and live in one half and rent out the other half. And this was like, for me, we had just graduated college. He proposed. We were getting married. Like, we were starting our life together. And that was not, it was not on the table for me. I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Living with somebody else right next to us.
This is our life. Like, I want a house. I wanted the whole 5-year plan, which is what we had talked about. So I was not on board for that at all. And, he is amazing and so supportive of me. So he was like, oh, okay, she's really not into this. So we did go and buy our own home and kind of start our life together. But obviously the real estate bug never left. So it was kind of something that snuck up to bite me in the butt after that.
So with that, he had to learn, so he put some money into seminar and things like that. What was it, like $7,000? Was it?
Yeah, $7,500.
$7,500 to go to a seminar, right?
Yep.
Okay. What did you think about that?
I was not happy about that because he didn't talk to me about it before he spent the money.
You know what? You sound much calmer now than when I told you.
Yeah. Well, and this is coming from, so we just talked about the fact that we bought the house because that's what I wanted. That was my vision for us. He bought that real estate training probably, 6 months after we bought the house and about 9 months before we were supposed to get married. And we were paying for our own wedding. So we had just shelled out a lot of money for this home and had to pay this mortgage. And we were supposed to be funding our own wedding, and he went and spent money that we didn't have on the real estate training. So you can imagine.
That you already didn't want me to do.
Yes, you can imagine how that conversation went. It was not good.
So let me ask you, what got you over that hump of saying, okay, we $7,500, that we feel like that was a lot of money, but what got you to where you are now, where you're like, okay, we have a real estate business, it's automatic, like everything's working really well, but getting that first property, did he do anything? Did he help you out to understand it? Like, what got you to where you started feeling, what and when did you start feeling more comfortable with it?
So after that situation happened, I think for me, the biggest epiphany was realizing that this wasn't just some project for him. There was a reason behind it. And one of the things that he had never talked about was what that reason was. He had this crazy goal to retire by 35, and then he kept talking about all these things he wanted to do, but he never actually sat down with me and said why he wanted to do them. So obviously, tough conversation. Money we didn't have was spent on the real estate training. So my question to him was like, why? Why would you do that? So he actually, he got emotional. He broke down and was like, I have this vision of what our life together is going to be. And this was the idea I had to get us there. And, I don't know how to convey that to you, and I'm trying, but it just seems like you don't want to do anything that I want to do. And we kind of had the talk, like, I want the same thing that you want, but you never told me that. So I didn't know that was why you were doing all of this. So after that, I was much more supportive of his goal of the real estate business. I didn't want to be involved per se, but I was supportive of it. I said, okay, let's figure it out. Like, what do you want to do now that you've got this training? Like, are you going to go and get a house? Like, so, he kind of talked about it, went out and bought the first home. And I was like, okay, this is a real thing now. And I think for me, it was kind of year over year, I kept seeing the work that he was putting in and what was happening. And he kept talking about numbers and like, okay, this is what we're looking at. If we buy this property, it's long term, but 15 years from now, when we pay the mortgage off, this is income. And so we started talking about like what that could provide for us. So for me, it was like, okay, I understand why we're doing it. I support you. And now I just kind of have to figure out what I'm going to be doing with that support. So at first I wasn't in the business, but after, a couple years, him still being in his job, I started to see where he was needing some help. So I was like, if we're going to make this thing work, I got to offer my skills. So I'm very detail oriented.
So you're the brains. I know that. He's the bronze. So that's absolutely the best way to go. So go ahead.
So I was like, okay, well, I have skills. I can contribute. And I stepped in to do a lot more of the paperwork, the office, the phone calls, like doing background checks on tenants and kind of just jumping into that world and helping him systematize and like make everything really cohesive. And okay, we have how many houses now? Let's use the same template for, leases and all the paperwork. And
Tom's Word systems.
Yes. That has
come
we'll
get
into
to
our
that
life.
in a little bit.
And then, after a few years, it was kind of like, okay, this is the real thing. And I can now see that I have a part to contribute as well as Tom. And in order to make it successful, it's kind of my responsibility to contribute in some way. And my chosen way was just to help out in the office because that was where I could offer skills.
That's great. Now, for my wife, it was different than the why. You needed the why. My wife already knew the why. Like I was always talking about the why. She completely, absolutely knew the why, but she didn't have the how, and the step-by-step, like the numbers. Like she's very analytical, which has helped me because I'm not. I'm pretty stupid. I just need I need addition and subtraction, a little bit of multiplication. So income minus expenses, and that's your profit is what you end up with. And so you multiply that, and you can get eventually where you're making $5,000, $10,000 a month. So that's easy for me. But she needed a lot more information. But it sounds like communication. So if you're married or if you have somebody that you're working with, communication is really going to help all along the way. And then asking right questions like, well, why are you doing this? How are you doing this? Like try to express what you are. And help me if this is what I'm hearing like is where you were lacking in the understanding of what he was wanting to do and how to do it and why to do it and all that sort of stuff. It was voicing the question and helping like fill in the gap here so that I can be on the same page. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I was going to say, and the biggest thing there is there's this quote, like, do unto others as you want done unto yourself. And for a long time, that's what I was trying to do. I was like, well, logically, it makes sense to me. Like, this is the purchase price. This is the expenses. This is what we'll make. Multiply it by this. This is what we need. Boom. So I kept trying to explain that to her that way, and she is not the numbers person. And so what I realized was it's a shift, and it's so do unto others as they want done. So I had to realize how does she process information and what is she looking for, and then explain it that way. So it wasn't run the numbers and tell her that. It was like, and here's what this will enable for us. And then once I started asking questions and understanding what she was looking for, then we could communicate in the same language to make it work.
Yeah, I like to call it productive communication because everyone out there talks about, oh, you got to communicate. But if you're having a conversation and you're talking at the person instead of with the person, it's not really communicating. So you have to be open to listening to the other person, asking those right questions like you said, and you have to give them the time. Because it's not an on switch and an off switch. Like, it's not like, oh, we had this conversation and now you're good. You're on board. Everything's great. Okay. Like, it took me years.
Oh, yeah. Same with my wife.
So, it's understanding each other enough, knowing enough about your spouse, your partner to say, okay, I know they're really risk averse, so this is going to be something that's really hard for them to accept, but I just have to take them by the hand and lead them and assure them that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that this is successful, clue them in enough to what they need to know to see that it's progressing. Don't overwhelm them with all the information that they don't need to know. Like, it's just a lot of doing that over and over, checking in with each other and just making sure you're still on the right track.
So when he came home and said, I spent $7,500, tell me a little bit about what went through your mind, and then how it was going beyond that. And like, wow, you spent money, but we also know that we need education. It helps us in the long run. So tell me about what your thought, and I'll get Tom to chime in on, everything good and bad about that.
So Tom and I have been together since freshman year of college. So we are college sweethearts. We met the first week of school, and we got the nickname from our soccer teams of the married couple, because as soon as we started dating, it was like we had known each other forever. We'd been best friends forever. So they joked around like, oh, there's Tom and Ariana, the married couple, and it just kind of stuck. So, this was a relationship where we were very close. We knew everything about each other there was to know. We talked about everything, whether it was uncomfortable or not. We knew about each other's families, about our life growing up. And so after we graduated and kind of started this life together, to have that happen for me felt like a really big betrayal of trust, because, we had been together for 5 years at that time, and I was like, whoa, this is not the Tom that I know. You would never do something like that. Like, we shared money from like the first year we were dating. Like, this was something that was just completely confounding to me, that this person who I thought I knew in and out went and did this crazy thing that was just so unlike him. So at first it was like, what the hell? And then after that, it was, you're sad, and like I felt a little bit of my own responsibility in the fact that I hadn't known this about my partner, and like, what did that mean about us and about a relationship, that we had this big hiccup and neither one of us had kind of come to the other to smooth that ground out and fix the problem. So it was, all the emotions. I'm a very emotional person, so I'm pretty sure we went through the entire gamut.
So, Tom, what are your thoughts about spending money to get education and learn?
Yeah, I think it's critical. One of the things I always tell people is we always need support. And when you're getting started, I don't think you have to spend $7,500. I think your investment level should be relative to where you're at. So when you get started, the first thing is you don't know what you don't know. So use free and low-cost methods, like great podcasts like Master Passive Income, right? Listen to people that have gone before you and see what they're doing and just understand what's out there, because we're talking real estate. There's like 100 different ways to invest in real estate. The first thing you want to know is, one, where do I want to go? And then two, what's the best way to get there? And once you narrow it down to like real estate, then you got to say, well, what type of real estate investing? And based on your goals, like for example, if you want to build cash flow to replace your job, rentals or something like that that's going to give you recurring income is huge. If you want to generate, large amounts of cash and you're willing to put it in work, flipping or some of these other methods might work. So you just have to know what is the landscape and then what's going to align for me, and then find the people that are actually doing it and make sure that they're doing it and you trust them and they're the right people to invest with. Because I spent money on someone who was traveling around the country training people. They didn't know our city. They didn't have a personal vested interest in what we did, and that was really the big mistake. Now, what I would do going forward, or if I was to do it again, is I'd go find somebody locally that's doing it in our market and really take that guidance from them. But the thing I always tell people is like, look, we need to invest. We need to invest either time, money, and energy, and oftentimes it's a combination. So what you got to figure out is, what do you have the most of right now? And so early on, you might not have a lot of money. Invest your energy, like partner up with somebody and show them you're willing to put the work in. And then later on, that might shift to now you've got more money, so you can invest more money to save some of your time.
That's a great point. Now, we touched just a fraction of a second on systems and building the systems in. And Tom, with your podcast interview that I did with you, we talked about all the systems you put in place to make sure that you can manage all your properties and change everything over. It's a great podcast. So I'll put in the show notes so everybody can go back and listen to that one. Now, you just wrote a book. Both of you guys wrote a book. Fantastic book. I love it. Tell us the name of the book. It's Lifestyle Builders, but tell us everything about it.
Yeah. So it's Lifestyle Builders, and the subtitle is Build Your Business, Quit Your Job, and Live Your Ideal Lifestyle. And really the reason we wrote it was as we both left our jobs, we then were kind of like, well, now what? Because you have this weird thing that happens, and people from the outside don't understand, where you're first focused on just taking care of yourself and your family. And when you work hard for years and you go through all the ups and downs and you make that happen, then you're kind of like, well, now what? And for us, people started asking us like how we did it and how we could help them. And we realized that the book would be a way to help a lot of people for a low cost. So basically, it's the roadmap that we recommend people go through to do just that. Build your business, quit your job, and live your ideal lifestyle. So it basically goes into what is that vision, getting aligned with your spouse, looking at your personal finances, making sure that it's all aligned and working, figuring out what business you should use and making sure that supports your life, putting systems in place and getting it ready to scale. And then the big thing is the transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur, because a lot of people don't realize all the stuff, financially, like maybe not having health insurance anymore and having to buy that, family and friends and what they're going to think when you leave your job. And then even just going from somebody else having a schedule and kind of accountability for you to where you got to be fully accountable. So we basically walk people through that entire journey. And I'll let Ariana share the most unique thing about the book.
I love this. Go ahead.
So when we first kind of had this idea to write the book, and then we got the offer from the publisher to write the book, then our next step was, oh crap, how are we going to write the book? Because there's two of us. And Tom and I are both very different, and we have different styles. So the last thing we wanted was to write a book that was confusing and like changing voices and like taking people all over the place and hard to follow. So we really had to sit down and say, okay, what do we want people to get out of this book? So we do want them to get the learning portion, like to take away actionable steps, but we also wanted to share why those steps were so important. So we used examples from our own story and our own life. And the most unique part is that we decided to do it from two different perspectives. So instead of like telling the story and then jumping into the training, we actually, every section has Tom's take and Ariana's take. So each story is told from Tom's perspective or my perspective. And then, the section afterwards is the training and the tactics to kind of go through that portion.
And what's fun is that Tom and I are so much alike. Our histories, our experiences, the way we see things, it's like looking in the mirror, I'm like, oh my goodness, everything you've done, I've done. Like, it's the same thing. We even had a similar job. It's so awesome to talk about that. But then my wife is totally different. You're different than him. And so getting the two different perspectives is just great. And I remember you were saying how with having two different perspectives, somebody's going to gravitate to either one or the other. And I say, hey, your wife is, Tom, your wife is fantastic. She's awesome. I love the way she wrote it, or vice versa. It's a really interesting way to explain business processes and building a business and changing your lifestyle and all that stuff, which you guys have done. You guys live the lifestyle now. And I remember you guys also do, on Fridays, you take your kids on a special trip, and pretty soon it's going to be a whole weekend thing. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah, so one of the sections of the book is Live Your Life. And obviously, for a lot of us, we have these goals as to what we want our life to look like. But what we don't want is for you to continue waiting until you get to that arbitrary point of, okay, we're ready to do this lifestyle thing now. We've reached the point. We want you to integrate some of that stuff into your life now. Like, we're living now. We don't want to wait until everything is where it should be to be living our life. Like, that's when your kids have grown up and you've lost all that time. And a lot of people have this trouble with like, oh, well, our finances aren't where we want them to be. Like, we can't take a trip to Disney World. We understand that. We found ways to do that a little differently where, yes, the big goal at some point is to go to Disney World, but right now it's not in the cards. So how can we break that down into small little tidbits so that we're still getting the experience that we want out of like a Disney World trip and little bits and pieces throughout the year. And one of our clients actually gave us the idea because she said something similar to like Friday field trips or I don't know. And we were like, that's amazing. So last summer we were like, let's do this. Like, let's take every Friday off and let's pick different trips to have experiences with our kids now while they're growing up. These are the memories that we want to create with them. These are the teaching lessons we want to open up by doing these things. So last year and this year, that was our summer. We took every Friday off with the kids for the whole summer, and we picked different trips with different experiences, from going to a park in New York State that we hiked and, went in the natural pool We went to the state fair, we went to the museum, and just kind of spreading out the experiences and having a great time as a family.
And it's because of the business that you've created. The business says, you guys are many businesses, and you talk about in the book how to build the businesses, how to make sure that your lifestyle is the way you want it, but then also building your life and building your business to support that. And so you guys are living testimony to that. So you guys are able to do those things because you've built this up, because you've been able to do this. So I'm really excited for you. So do you guys have anything that anybody listening or watching this, can you give them anything for free that they can download and start learning about this?
Yeah, so one of the really cool things we did is, as we put the book together, we're like, we want people to take action along the way, because a lot of people will read a book and they're like, oh, that was a really good book, and then they move on, and it's like, well, if you don't take action from it, it's not really beneficial. So what we did was there's activities in the book, and then we put together this starter pack, which is basically templates and training videos and all of that to basically supplement the book. And what's cool is, you can legit just get the starter pack for free and start going through it. But if you do it in conjunction with the book, what it will actually do is give you the deeper context and help you understand why and how you're going to do it.
That's awesome. So we have the book. At what point are you going to sell it? Not what point. Where are you guys selling it, and how can people pick it up?
Yeah, so we are selling it right now. It is not available through any of the normal booksellers, but it's on pre-order, so you can go to our website at lifestylebuildersbook.com, and then from there you can order it from us, or you can go to your favorite bookseller.
And when is the launch date? Because I want to make sure that we get this done.
Absolutely. So it's coming out October 29th for the physical book. We've got the ebook coming out September 17th, and it will be in bookstores, any bookstore online, so it'll be available everywhere.
So by the time this comes out, it's probably going to be already out. So we already hopefully have all that covered. So definitely everybody needs to go out there and get the book and start reading it. And then you also have that free stuff in there, which is going to be great for everybody. But I definitely recommend the book. I think the book's fantastic. I love how you guys have the dynamic of your voice, or both of your voices together, because different perspectives. Like, it's just, there's so many great things in it. So I definitely highly recommend it. Everybody needs to go out there and get it. I'll put links in the show notes as well as the description. So if you're on your phone, just look at the description. I'll send it there as well. So you guys, it's been fantastic. You guys are fantastic. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. And I just got to say, you are a living testament to everything that we preach as well. So, the family trips you guys get to take, and you said we're so similar. And I just want to, recommend you, because you're doing everything that we talk about, and you're living proof that, like, if you understand what you want things to look like and you take action and keep working through it, you can make that ideal lifestyle happen.
Amen.
You're
Thanks,
a lifestyle
guys.
builder, man.
Yes, I'm following your lead. I'm going to keep going with it too.
I love it.
Go, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Man, listening to that story about Tom and Ariana is so reminiscent of how my wife and I got started. I spent lots and lots of money, just like Tom did. My wife wasn't big on investing, but they had different reasons. My wife was the how. Ariana was the why. I was always talking about the why. Tom was always talking about the how. So we were both mixing it up. And then eventually I switched, where I explained the how to my wife, and that got her on board. And Tom explained the why, which then got Ariana on board. Now, what's interesting is many of my students are in this same position, where one spouse is on board and the other one is not, and we work through those together. So again, if you want to get started investing in real estate rental properties, I'd love to help you out. If you go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course, that will give you my free course that I'm going to show you how to get started investing in real estate rental properties. All right, guys, you are fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really, really appreciate your time. Now get out there and start investing in real estate rental properties and get yourself the keys to that Ferrari with knowledge and education. Stick with us, the Master Passive Income Show. All right, guys, you take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.